Every week, NASCAR puts out a boring list of who broke the rules. This week, one name on that list led to something nobody saw coming: a felony arrest, a 77-year-old victim, and big trouble for Michael Jordan's race team. A NASCAR team having its best season ever should be all smiles right now. But for 23XI Racing, the team co-owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, this week brought something nobody saw coming. And it has nothing to do with what happened on the track. It started with a name on a piece of paper. Every week, NASCAR puts out something called a penalty report. It's just a list of people who broke the rules and what punishment they got. Most of the time, it's pretty boring stuff. A crew member here, a fine there. But this week, one name jumped off the page. Her name is Evanna Howell, and she is 35 years old. If you've never heard of her, that's okay. She isn't a driver, she isn't a crew chief, she works behind the scenes. According to her LinkedIn page, Evanna Howell is a senior account manager for 23XI Racing. That's a business job, helping the team with sponsors and partners. And she's not new either. She has been part of the 23XI account team since November 2021. That's over 2 years with the team, working out of their shop in Huntersville, North Carolina. So, why is her name suddenly all over the news? Because NASCAR didn't just give her a small fine or a slap on the wrist. NASCAR indefinitely suspended her. Indefinitely is a big word that just means there's no end date. They didn't say she's out for one race or 1 month. They said she's out, and nobody knows when or if she's coming back. On the penalty report that came out Wednesday, NASCAR listed the reason as a behavioral violation. To be exact, they said she broke Section 4A of the NASCAR rulebook. That's the part of the rules that covers how people are supposed to act. The notice went out from NASCAR's communications team, and right away, people wanted to know what she actually did. And this is where the story gets serious. Really serious. Here's what police say happened. On Saturday, May 23rd, at about 1:45 p.m. in the afternoon, there was an incident at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This was during the big Memorial Day race weekend, just hours before the famous Coca-Cola 600, which ran the next day on Sunday, so the track was busy. People everywhere, getting ready for one of the biggest races of the whole year. According to the police report, Evanna Howell used a golf cart as a weapon. You read that right, a golf cart. Police say she hit a man with it, and not just any man. The person she allegedly hit was 77 years old. Now, golf carts are everywhere at a racetrack. Teams use them, workers use them, they zip around all day long carrying people and equipment. They seem harmless. But a golf cart is still a heavy machine, and police say this one caused real damage. The police report stated that the elderly man suffered a severe laceration. A laceration is just a deep cut. So we're talking about a serious injury to a 77-year-old man. What we still don't know is why. The reports make it clear that it's unclear what led to the crash. Was there an argument? A misunderstanding? Something else? Right now, nobody is saying. We just know police believe it was on purpose, and that's a huge difference. Because of that, the charge against her is no small thing. Evanna Howell was arrested that same day, May 23rd. The charge is a felony. She was charged with assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. In this case, the deadly weapon they're talking about is the golf cart. The arrest warrant directly says she used a golf cart to assault the 77-year-old man. There's also a small but telling detail buried in the court paperwork. The records noted an update of victims' injuries on bond recommendation for Max. In plain words, that means the court was paying close attention to how badly the man was hurt when they decided how to handle her case. And here's a detail that really stuck with a lot of people. When her mugshot was taken, Evanna Howell was wearing a 23XI Racing hoodie. So the photo that went out to the world showed her in team gear. For a team having such a great year, that's not the kind of picture you want connected to your brand. After the arrest, she didn't stay locked up for long. Court records show she was released from the Cabarrus County Jail on May 26th, which was 3 days after the incident. To get out, she had to post a $125,000 bond. That's a lot of money, and it tells you how seriously the court is treating this. This isn't over for her either. She already had a court appearance on Tuesday, and her next court date is set for June 16th. So this story is going to keep going for a while. Now, you might be wondering what 2311 Racing and NASCAR have said about all of this, and the answer is almost nothing. Reporters reached out to both NASCAR and 2311 Racing asking for more information. As of now, neither one has responded. The team has not put out any statement about the arrest at all. They've stayed completely quiet. And that silence is loud, because everything else about 2311's year has been worth shouting about. On the track, this team is on fire. Their driver, Tyler Reddick, has been the most dominant driver in the entire Cup Series this season. He won the first 3 races of the 2026 season in a row. That's history-making stuff. Then he added 2 more wins on top of that, giving him 5 total. And get this, across the 13 races run so far this year, Reddick is the only driver with more than 2 wins. Nobody else is even close to him in that way. Even the team's co-owner, Denny Hamlin, who is also a driver, is having a strong year. Hamlin sits in 2nd place in the standings. But here's how good Reddick has been. Hamlin is a distant 2nd, 122 points behind his own teammate. That's a massive gap. The rest of the 2311 lineup is in the mix too. Bubba Wallace is running 13th in the standings, and the team's other driver, Riley Herbst, sits 27th. So this is a team firing on all cylinders on the racetrack, while this off-track problem hangs over their heads. There's one more piece that makes this whole thing even bigger. 2311 Racing and NASCAR have a history, and it's not always a friendly one. Before this season even started, 2311 Racing teamed up with another team called Front Row Motorsports and took NASCAR to court. They fought NASCAR in an antitrust trial over something called the charter system, which is basically how teams earn guaranteed spots and money in the sport, and 2311 came out on top. NASCAR agreed to a settlement during that trial. So picture the relationship here. This is a team that just beat NASCAR in a legal fight, is now dominating on the track, and is suddenly dealing with one of its own employees being arrested on a felony charge at a NASCAR race weekend. That's a lot of pressure pointing in a lot of directions all at once. When you step back and look at the full picture, you can see why this counts as huge trouble. This isn't a driver bumping another car or a crew member breaking a small technical rule. This is a felony charge involving serious injury to a 77-year-old man. The suspension is indefinite, so there's no clear path back. And the optics could not be worse, with an employee in a team hoodie tied to a violent allegation during one of the sport's biggest weekends. The questions left hanging are the ones everyone wants answered. What actually started the incident? How is the 77-year-old victim doing now? And what's going to happen when Evanna Howell walks back into that courtroom on June 16th? For a team enjoying the best season it's ever had, this is the last kind of headline anyone at 2311 wanted to see.